Hi, I'm Chris Pierce, and in this video presentation I'm going to explain to you 3 of the principal reasons why you're finding it a struggle to run your business. And I'm going to tell you how to get you, your people and your business back on track. The first reason why so many of my clients find running their business a struggle is that what used to work for them when they started out doesn't work for them anymore. Let me explain. In the beginning, you used to do everything. Sales, marketing, accounts, product or service design and delivery. Then, when you started to make money and be successful, you took people on and delegated work to them to help grow the business. And that's when things started to change, and not just for the better. You started to find that although some of your people had the skills and abilities to do the work you were giving them, they didn't always execute in the way that you wanted. And you found that some of your people needed so much supervision that you started taking back some of the stuff you were doing before. So having taken people on to ease your workload, you find instead that your work has increased. What's more, you may also have found that although turnover has gone up, profitability has decreased because you and others are not working as efficiently as you could be. And that means that although you are working harder, you may not be seeing the financial rewards for it. And as if that wasn't enough, the chances are that relationships with some of your people are starting to get frayed by their seeming inability to meet your expectations and the pressure they feel from you. Try as you may, however you approach them, they just don't seem to be able to deliver what you need. The dream of a healthy, growing business has turned into a nightmare of stress, conflict, and poor performance. Ouch! Why would anyone want to get into that? Well, of course, none of us set out to fail, but so many don't achieve the vision that inspired them to take action in the first place. Why? Well, the reason is very simple when it's framed correctly. In order for your business to grow and develop, you have to grow and develop too. So many business owners and managers fondly imagine that all they have to do is take on staff, give them some work, and everything will start to grow. What they don't realise is that running a business is a completely different activity from doing the business, and it requires a totally different set of skills, aptitudes and insights, a different mindset. So what do you do about it? To resolve this problem, you have to become an expert at 3 things: choosing your staff, delegating responsibility, and finding your inspiration. If you are less than good at all 3, you will find running the business that you once loved a real struggle. But the good news is that all 3 start with you and your thinking, and all 3 can be developed in any business owner or entrepreneur that is dedicated to making their enterprise a success. Good. So moving on to the second reason why you're finding your business a struggle instead of an inspiration: conflict. Conflict is the propensity for communication to become adversarial instead of collaborative. Communication becomes charged with negative emotion. The conflict can be passive-aggressive, where feelings simmer below the surface, or overtly aggressive, both of which block real communication and waste huge amounts of time and energy in the process. Now, the key to managing conflict is the understanding that however right and justified you may be in your position, whether you like it or not, you are part of the problem. The old adage, it takes 2 to tango, really does apply here. And in reality, the real struggle that conflict brings about is never with the other person. It's always with yourself. Which is great news, because that's where the resolution lies, in your own thinking and behaviour. It's a fallacy to believe that you have to like your colleagues. Of course it helps, but it can also get in the way. But whether you like them or not, you do have to be able to get on with them. Getting on with your colleagues is the unwritten part of all job descriptions. And if you can't get on with them, you can't do your job. So the primary way of transforming conflict into collaboration is to understand very clearly the part that you are playing in it, and to then choose behaviours that you will adopt to improve things. And that is in sharp contrast to what usually happens when our behaviours are driven by the situation and we have no control over them. The third reason why running your business is a struggle is poor performance. And although that can manifest as anything from high staff turnover to customer dissatisfaction, in the majority of cases it will be experienced as poor turnover and poor profits. So try as you may, and you may have tried everything, you simply can't make a decent return on the effort that you and your people are putting in. Now, the potential reasons for this problem are numerous and can appear as being down to your staff, your markets, the economy, your suppliers and partners, your competitors, and indeed everything that you have little or no control over. And of course, the more you attribute the causes of poor performance to external factors, the less influence you appear to have, and the more depressed and negative you can become over future prospects. Soon, you end up in a spiral of negativity which becomes self-fulfilling. But here's the good news. Although the causes of poor performance may appear to be beyond your control, the solutions are very much within your grasp, and they are all to do with the way you think and the attitude of mind that you adopt in the face of adversity. Now, here's a case study that will make this point. Andy started his marketing agency 10 or so years ago, enjoying significant success from the start, allowing him to take on staff and build a team around him. 2 years ago, when I met him, he was despondent. He was working between 60 and 80 hours a week, having serious trouble with his staff, and falling far short of making decent profits. All this in spite of being a very successful marketer. Over the following 18 months, we worked together and focused not on making more money, but on revealing the mindsets, his mindsets, that were directly responsible for the business failing to act efficiently and productively. One of the things that we found was his reluctance to address unhelpful behaviours from his staff. And of course, if you don't challenge these behaviours, you end up tacitly supporting them. The second thing was his confusion over responsibilities, what he should be doing with his time and what his people should be doing. All this exacerbated by stress, conflict and money worries. The upshot of our collaboration was that Andy realised that by focusing on leading his people, rather than telling them what to do and then doing it himself, his enterprise could become far more efficient, resolving much of his stress, conflict and ultimately his low profitability. He learnt how to reduce his stress levels, define responsibilities, overcome the urge to intervene, give his people ownership and discretion, diffuse and resolve conflict, and achieve far more by doing much less. In his own words, "In the past, I would have had sleepless nights over certain situations. Now I can honestly say, regardless of what has been going on in the workplace, I've not lost any sleep over it. I'm spending less time thinking about work and I am delegating much, much more than before. Realising how things are now feels so good." So to summarise, struggling with your business through stress, conflict and poor performance often appears to be about things beyond your control. The reality, though, is that you have far more power and influence than you might think, and all that is required is a change of mind. And that's great news because it's so much easier to change yourself than to change your circumstances. So thank you for listening. I get really excited by the prospect of others discovering what I've discovered, and I would love you to join me for more. Until the next time, take responsibility and take care.